Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5, and today we are going to be jumping into a bunch of things that were recently shared on the latest live stream by the developers. Now, we're going to be starting off with some gameplay of the Ford F450, then we're going to be moving on to a couple of different things about the starter cars of the game, and then we're also going to be checking out some of the wild intro sequence gameplay. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and remove the face cam so you guys can see all of the gameplay on screen. Now, right off the bat, I wanted to go ahead and confirm once again that the Ford F450 is indeed a drivable, purchasable vehicle. It is not a traffic vehicle in Forza Horizon 5. It is a vehicle that you can have in your garage and that you can also customize. However, we don't really know the extent of the customization features for this truck yet because they didn't really say much about it or go into much detail on the customizability of this truck. Now, one of the biggest questions that I've been seeing from people ever since this announcement was made was, is this going to have a gas engine or a diesel engine? And I'm actually really happy to report that this is going to have the 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel with about 1,000 foot-pounds of torque from the factory. Now, one of the other interesting things is I can see a fifth wheel hitch, or what looks like a fifth wheel hitch, in the middle of the bed there. Now, does that mean there's going to be fifth wheel trailers in Horizon 5? Probably not. Most likely not. But the fact that it's there is really, really, really cool. And I'm already seeing challenge ideas in my mind, and I'm sure other people in the community's minds as well, where we try to fit different things into the bed of this truck. I'm already having, like, flashbacks to Forza Horizon 4 of trying to fit the Peel P50 into odd and interesting places. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below what you are going to be doing first with the Ford F450, because I really think it unlocks a whole dynamic of gameplay that we really haven't had access to before. Circling back around to the customization aspect of things, I'm really excited to see how far they will let us upgrade the engine, because there's obviously a lot that you can do with the 6.7 Power Stroke in real life. It's a very tunable engine, it's a very buildable engine, and when people put, let's say, bigger turbos, bigger injectors on a 6.7 Power Stroke, they've been known to make well over 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 horsepower with upgraded internals, of course, and upgraded injectors and an upgraded turbo. Now, another thing that I'm really curious about is whether or not we're going to see any lift kit options for this truck, or maybe some options to install bigger tires. That would definitely be something that I would love to see, but I don't know at this present moment in time as I'm filming this video if that option is on the table or not. But hopefully the developers will be able to give us a little bit more insight into the customization features of this truck soon, and if they don't, then I guess we're going to have to wait until the game comes out to see what we can do with it for ourselves. Now, another thing to think about with the announcement of this truck is what it could potentially mean for the future of the game in terms of vehicle DLCs. Like, are we potentially going to see a Chevy Silverado dually? Are we potentially going to see a Dodge Ram dually? Nobody knows as of right now, but I think it really did get the wheels in my brain turning when I saw the gameplay of this truck featured on their latest live stream. And it really did get me excited because, I mean, you guys all know we're big fans of trucks here on the channel. We play a lot of different truck-related games. And for me, seeing one of my personal favorite pickup trucks in Forza Horizon 5, which Forza Horizon being a series that I've enjoyed for many, many years, is a really special thing for me, a really special moment for me. And I think a lot of players are going to be really interested in driving this truck as soon as they possibly can when they get their hands on Horizon 5. Now, though, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the 3 starter cars. So, when you complete the intro sequence of the game, you'll be obviously prompted to choose a starter car. Now, your 3 options are going to be the C8 Corvette, the new Bronco Badlands, and, of course, the Mark V Supra. So, the cool thing about this, though, is no matter which starter car you choose, all 3 will be added to your garage, and the developers actually confirmed that on the live stream as well. So, let me know in the comment section down below which starter car you're going to be going with and why. Now, obviously, I think the people that are going to be a little bit more dedicated to the grip driving or the circuit racing aspect of the game are going to go with the C8 most likely. The off-road people are going to go with the Bronco, and I definitely feel like a lot of the drift people are going to be going with the Supra right off the bat. But once again, like I said before, this choice doesn't really have any kind of long-term effect on your gameplay because, once again, all 3 get added to your garage, and you can change those cars whenever you see fit to change. Now, I'm definitely excited to get my hands on the Mark V Supra, obviously because of the customization aspects to it, but the Bronco is another vehicle that really interests me a lot in Horizon 5 because it really really the way they've expanded upon the game world and made it so incredibly focused on not only on-road driving, but also off-road driving, I feel like the Bronco is going to be an amazing vehicle to have in your garage, especially right off the bat. And look at the size of those tires. I mean, they are ready to freaking go. You can also set your license plate from the start of the game, of course, but the developer that was playing through this particular intro sequence opted to not customize the license plate right at the start of the game, which I completely understand because we're here to see what these cars have to offer, and the license plate choice is definitely more of a individual gameplay choice, I would say. Now, as we move along here, you can see the player gearing up for our first showcase event, which showcase events have always been a really big part of the Horizon series, and honestly, they've also been one of my personal favorite parts of the Horizon series because they showcase not only the ability to race something that you wouldn't normally race, but I feel like they also give the developers a chance to really show off a little bit with what the game can actually look like and what the game can visually show you. Now, as we set off out here through the desert, what I love is actually looking out into the distance and seeing that sort of horizon with the mountains in the background. That, to me, really reminds me of Horizon 1, and driving under this underpass also really gives me massive Horizon 1 vibes, and I'm sure that if you guys have been playing the Horizon series ever since the first one, you guys will know the exact area that I'm talking about, the exact area that I'm thinking about, where you would go right underneath the highway just before driving up into the mountain canyon road area. Now, moving on into this little town, as you can see, once again, the colors of this game, they're so bright, they're so vibrant, and they really just bring you in to that experience from a visual standpoint, I think. I think there's so much to look at here as we're on our way to the festival, and as you can see back there, there was actually an F450, another blue F450, just kind of chilling out, going the other direction, but the fact that we're seeing them drive around is so incredibly cool. Now that we've arrived at the showcase event, though, we can go ahead and kick things off. Now, another thing that I really love about the intro sections of Horizon 5 is they really revolve around this plane a lot. They're very, very specific about revolving around that airplane because obviously in the very first initial bit of gameplay that was shown, we literally see vehicles being dropped out of airplanes. And also, this car here, there's a lot to talk about with this car. Now, the car in question is version 2 of Ken Block's Ford Escort Cosworth, and what I really love about it is not only the new wide-body kit, but all of the little aero bits and pieces that have been added to it as well. Now, I love how the race start screen is just super straightforward, super to the point, super simple, and it just throws you right into the action right off the start. Now, this area right here, this super, super long straightaway, I could totally see this being an area where a lot of us might get together to do drag racing or maybe car meets or car meets with drag racing, like, for example, the way we used to use some of the old runways or maybe some of the highway sections, but we can obviously see we jump out of that area very early on in this showcase event, but I think it's really important to take note of that particular area because I feel like it could play a major role in a lot of different aspects of the game, especially in ways that you could be hanging out with your friends. Once again, just getting together somewhere for a car meet, or maybe, just hammering down a straightaway with a freshly built car, or maybe, let's say you built something and then your buddy built something else, and you're like, hey, we want to know which one's faster in a straight line. Let's find out. So it could be a really good spot for all of those things, or maybe just a spot to practice tuning your car, practice launching it, practice all of those different things that might come in handy as you're exploring around the game world. And speaking of epic moments that can happen around the game world, let's take a look at some of the first gameplay that was shown of the intro sequence. Now, obviously, the rear of the plane opens up, and you can press A to literally jump into the horizon and launch your new Bronco out of the back of a plane. If that's not an epic way to kick off an intro sequence, I don't know what is, genuinely. Now, we're dropping in on top of the volcano up here, which features not only lava, but also snow. So you literally have two different extremes right from the get-go. Now, when you drop into the game world here for the very first time, obviously they're going to walk you through the basics of the controls and things like that. But for those of you that are a little bit more experienced, you might want to go ahead and change up your driving settings as soon as possible, like for example, turning off things like traction control, stability control, ABS, all of that stuff, and of course going ahead and switching the transmission up to manual. So let me know which things you're going to adjust right off the start, and also this view when you go ahead and just jump off the side of the volcano. Oh my god, and can we just take a second to talk about how incredible it's going to be to race down the side of this volcano in the dirt with your friends in whatever lineup of off-road vehicles you might be driving at the time? That's going to be so wild, so wild. And as you near the bottom of the mountain, not only does the landscape open up and expand, but it also reveals some really interesting new areas, and it also reveals a dirt racetrack. So as we crest this hill and go ahead and smash right through this fence, boom, racetrack right below you. You've got a trophy truck running around. You got some buggies running around. So much going on. So much. And let's, of course, not forget about the epic C8 Corvette just ripping through the countryside, and then, of course, moving over to this Porsche 911 desert car ripping through the jungle, and then moving into the AMG 1 ripping through the desert once again. So if you guys enjoyed this video and this look into some of the highlights of the most recent Forza Horizon 5 developer live stream, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and also let me know what you are most excited about and what you're going to be doing first when you very first drop into the game. That's going to do it for this video, guys, and expect much more in regards to Forza Horizon 5 on the channel very, very soon, and I will see y'all there. Make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on. Talk to y'all soon.